Hello there, amazing human beings. How are you doing today? Um, I actually have a very specific topic I want to talk about today, but I'm very much afraid of doing so because I have this problem. It's not necessarily always a problem, but usually it is. That I don't like sharing some personal stuff about myself. Personal, I mean, less of like my experiences, more of like what the fuck goes on in my mind, you know? So, what I'm doing today is teaching you how to start writing a book. If you don't know this, I've been writing my book for like 7 years now. Overall, trying to write a book for 9 years. Um, so yeah, that's a long time. That's a long time to write a book, to learn how to write a book, and uh, all the little technicalities and everything that surrounds it. Okay, I do not have a joint with me today because, as you can clearly see in a few videos of mine that are more recent, I do not have a joint with me, and you know why? That is because my dad took all of my money and now I'm trying to like recover, so I don't have much money to spend on weed, so when I become a millionaire, I'll sit here with a blunt every day, okay? But I'm not a millionaire just yet in the physical world, yeah? Here I'm already fucking, a billionaire, okay? But sometimes you gotta deal. Oh, that's my cat right there. Hello, baby. He's so cute. um yeah, sometimes you just gotta deal with what you're dealt with, what cards have been given to you, I don't think this lighting is very helpful. I think it overexposes me. But you know what? I'm a vampire anyway, my skin is not real anyway, so it's just, is it better? I don't know, man. I think this is better, I don't know. But yeah. At the beginning, I wanted to talk about my religious trauma because I grew up religious. Yeah, hello. But that is for another video because today I went outside. Shocking, I know. I went outside to a coffee shop to write my book. I went with my laptop and just sat there and wrote my book while I was drinking coffee. And I found out that this is the my favorite way of writing my book. That is, I have been committed to the fact that I'm gonna publish it officially as a book, physical book, in 2025, February 2025. So almost every day that I can, I dedicate to writing my book. I want to share with you my experience. Sorry for like chewing the gum, but it helps me concentrate because I don't have a joint to smoke. I have ADHD. Hello, okay? It just keeps me active, okay? So my thing is, right? There's like so many ways to write a book, right? Um Whether it is like well, my book, I'm sorry, this is very messy right now because I don't really know. I didn't really decide how to begin this video. I just felt urged to do so, like every video of mine is, so this is where I am. You know what, let me just throw away the gum, because it starts to distract me. Anyway, there's so many ways to write a book. My book is a fantasy book that it's like a novel, it's kind of like a fictional story, but it's like um, very esoteric. It's like explaining the secrets of the universe through anecdotal experience type shit, kind of, not really, but kind of. Um, it doesn't matter what kind of book you want to write. Perhaps it's a philosophy book. Perhaps it's a guide for something that you are mastering. Like perhaps you want to write a guiding book on how to write a book, or on how to um, engineer something, on how to paint. I don't know. We all have a certain unique niches and experiences and knowledge that we want and need to share with this world. So there is this belief that if we didn't go to university as and study literature and shit like that, then we don't have the privilege, or we don't have the what is the word I'm looking for? The right to write a book. Well, that is false. We tend to think that. I was thinking that too, but it's false. You know why? Because who the fuck decided that only if you have a master's degree, a doctorate degree in literature, in language, whatever the hell, then only then you have the right to write a book? Like, it doesn't make sense for me, because we all have words in our vocabulary. We can make sentences that will convey the meaning that we're trying to convey. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to have like this academic fucking receipt that it's okay for you to write a book. I've been kind of like dealing with this topic lately, because I've been trying to be very public about the fact that I'm writing a book and that I'm publishing it, and like it is what it is, and like it's scary. It's scary, like, because I'm so used to, like, as I said in the beginning, I'm so used to like just keeping my creativity to myself, and keeping things like this, major works like this one, to myself. I never wanted to publish it anyway. I just wanted it to exist. I would just wanted to write it. But then I realized that I must publish this. You know what I mean? Like, wait, hold up. There's like delay in my footage. Okay, now is it fine? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah, I've been battling with this state of mind, train of thought, this philosophical question: do I have the right to write a book? This is how to write a book, more like a guide for you, but in like the mindset perspective, right? I'm not gonna teach you how to step by step start writing a book. I'm gonna teach you how to shut the world out so you can concentrate on doing what is your destiny, basically, and writing this book. Because you might say, oh, that's super easy. No, it's not. It's not. Perhaps at the beginning it is very much easy, but then doubts start to like bubble up. They start to bubble up, and if there weren't no doubts, we weren't human. So I guess they are a good thing, because they also sharpen your perception of what you want to do and what you are doing, because if you can work through your doubts about the specific thing that you're doing, then that means that you can that you understand what you're doing more deeply. That even through doubts you can still find the reason to keep doing it, or why it's best to still do it anyway. I'm kind of like preparing myself to like share this, because it's like first of all, it is a lot of information. Second of all, it is very deep. And, you know, I don't want to use the phrase out of the matrix, but it kind of is, you know, because the matrix, you know, everybody knows that I'm not talking, like, I know what my audience is. I have very intellectual beings here on this channel, right? You all are out of the matrix. And you know what I refer to as the matrix, you know, like the false system that we kind of built us to for ourselves, you know, like in society, even in the ways like that our brain works, you know. I have made a video about this, kind of discussing this topic on how I became a mentor slash low-key a book review video. I'm gonna leave it right here in the cards of the video. But yeah, basically the matrix, which is the acceptable way to think in society. Can you like relax with the sirens? Why is every well, I was about to say, why is every time I'm recording like there's sirens? But I live in a crime city, so like I'll just wait. I'll wait. It's fine. So yeah, society is very much limiting. Yeah, it's very much limiting because, you know, if you want to start doing something as grand as writing a book, you know, writing even going in a career path that is very much specific to you and to your goals and like your needs and to your destiny, whatever, people that are just like having a 9 to 5, people that are just like doing everything that they are supposed to do by society are gonna fucking look down upon you. You know, look down upon you like they're any better, you know. Like it's supposed to be the exact opposite, but because we're awake, we see that there's no reason to look down on anyone because everybody is like, you know, has their own journey and we shouldn't judge anyone on what they're doing. But people like that, they don't really understand the concept, you know. They're gonna judge you. They're gonna be like, how are you doing this? Like, do you not have any like I still didn't find the word I wanted to use, but you don't have the right to be doing something this grand, right? Because for them, in society, you know, the copy paste people in society, you have to have a matrix based receipt to be able to do something that is out of the matrix. Usually it is money, but if it is not money, it is, like I said, an academic degree or perhaps some sort of equivalence of that. Like, I don't know, okay? Like, you wanna... I'll take, like, chemistry as an example. Imagine you... or, like, astronomy, you know? Things like that, you know? That require a lot of research, a lot of, like, empiric measurements, a lot of, like, actual based in reality results, you know? You can not go to any academic facility ever in your life, not even school, okay? But just like be in your bunker for your whole life and just like do chemistry and just like be fascinated by the ways certain chemicals and minerals react to each other and whatever, you know, or be super fascinated with space but not go to like any academic facility, you know, to be a real scientist or whatever. So you just, you know, I'm overwhelmed by information. Research space with your own telescope through your own little eyes and like measure everything by yourself and everything like that, you know. Society, when they find all of your findings, basically what you discovered, they're gonna just dismiss that, even though it could be very much based in reality and the truth. It could be a breakthrough, really. But because you don't have this matrix receipt that is an academic degree for that matter, then you are not to be taken seriously by their little brains. Little mortal brains, yeah. And what I realized about this is that, well, these people are just a reflection of those parts that we have in our own self and our own consciousness that are telling this to ourselves, right? Perhaps you're gonna say, oh no, I'm 100% like certain about my abilities. I'm 100% like, I don't care what other people say about me. Well, you do. Even if you're not aware of that, you do. Because that's how we humans, we work like that, you know? I didn't decide to work this way. I would much rather just have no emotions. I'm an Aquarius, you know? That's my thing. I just rather have no emotions. But it's not like that, okay? It isn't. So perhaps our doubts that if we don't, even if we don't acknowledge them, they manifest in people having doubts about us in the real life. Most of this comes from them fearing the fact that we will do it, we will rise without the rules and regulations that they have been like kind of enslaved to in their life, you know, which is why they have this urge to stop us from doing what we want, to stop us from manifesting our dream life, doing what is our destiny, basically. They don't want that because that means that they are not doing the best for their destiny. They're not like manifesting their dream life. They're enslaved, basically. And deep down, they know that that's what it means. So that is why they aren't doing anything with their lives other than like the standard, you know, stencil that society gives you. You know, you have army, university, college, I don't know, whatever, open up a business, like work a 9 to 5, get married, have children, I don't know, random shit like that, you know, that is just like a template, you know. So where was I? When I'm smoking, I'm more like I tend to like concentrate a bit more, because I see like each thought at a time, but right now my brain is like overflowing with ideas and thoughts. So yeah. But basically what I'm trying to say is the fact that people are gonna try to stop you from feeling like you deserve to fulfill your destiny. And here's what I've learned from me resisting that. And I wanted to share this with you because I don't know if you're feeling the same way. And perhaps a video like this would have helped me to like realize something about myself. There's a bug on my window. Hold up. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I just told my bottle of water that I'm sorry. I killed the bug. I'm sorry. But I just couldn't watch anymore. Anyway, let's start from the very, very, very beginning. Because as I have told you, I've been writing this specific book for 7 years, and writing a book in general for 9 years almost. So that's a long time to have doubts, and to also, I didn't tell anyone I was writing this book. Only at the early stages when I was like 13, everyone was on Wattpad, you know, it was very trendy, so I was just like hopping on that trend and being like, oh my god, yeah, I am on Wattpad and shit like this. My book is still on Wattpad because I'm there since like I was 13, so like people recognize me and remember me as like a writer or whatever, like, you know, so it's a very quick way of getting feedback from people that don't know who you are, you know. It's not like posting it on Instagram, like people know who you are. It's random people who just want to read stuff, so they don't give a shit about who you are. And that's what I like. But since the very beginning, you have this thought, right? Who am I to write a book? Like, what do I know? The fuck do I know to write a book? And that is a very common thing to feel. Who am I to start painting? Who am I to start research about this specific thing? I don't know. It could be even like system related. I was about to say matrix, but it's more like system, systematic. It's more of like it could be a system related goal that you want. Oh, I want to get this promotion. Like, who am I to get this promotion? I want to get into college. Who am I to get into college? This is the state of mind. Who am I, this simple peasant, to be doing this elite thing, basically? When we put it into simple words, that is the feeling. And I tend to feel that this train of thought that is full of doubt, is only dependent on us, in a sense of like, you're gonna come to your best friends and you're gonna ask them, hey guys, I have this idea, and you're gonna describe your idea. Like, I'll use my book as my example. Yo friends, I have this idea to write a very complicated fantasy book about angels coming from their kingdom to the dimension where humans live, because their pure kingdom was fucking colonized and destroyed by the Queen of Chaos, and they have to save it through their lives on Earth. What do you think about this idea? They're gonna say, what you writing a book, this concept, what? It's very cliche. Oh, you write a fantasy book? Oh, how can you even do that? Like, do you even have the skills for that? Like, shit like that. You're gonna go to your parents and you're gonna say you're gonna go to your parents and you're gonna say, oh, I have this great idea to write this book, or like to teach this thing, or like to, I don't know, become a musician, become a fucking painter, become a gardener, I don't know, run away to the woods and open my farm, I don't know, like everything. Could be anything and everything. But for this specific video, it's mainly about writing a book, because it is specifically a very like matrix involved topic. They're gonna be like, yeah, good luck with that, writing a fantasy book. Yeah, what are you, J.K. Rowling? You know what I mean? Like, it's not gonna be met with a lot of encouragement, is my point. And you must understand how much this means to you, like this creation, this book that you want to write. You must understand how deep of a connection you have with the idea, because you do. Okay, you're gonna say, oh no, I don't. But if you wanted to write this book since the beginning, it's your doubts that tell you, oh, I don't have this deep of a connection, because you think a deep connection with your book, or whatever it is, with the idea, should look a very specific way, where in reality, your own connection with this idea, this topic, the fact that you even wanted to share it to begin with, is what matters. You know what I mean? And just finding out what that means for you makes your connection with the idea much stronger, hence making your resistance to outside criticism, I mean of your action of writing the book, not of the book itself, or your writing or whatever, is much stronger, like the resistance, which means that like nothing can stop you from doing it. I have encountered through my Wattpad days, I have encountered a lot of people who wanted to experiment in writing and like wanted, to just basically live their fantasies through writing them in with their characters, with their in little world that they can do whatever the fuck they want in it. That was kind of like the thing. Because we were also teenagers, mind you, 13, 14, when we were like very actively in like the Wattpad community. Um, as a teenager, you first of all are very creative and your mind is very active and your imagination is very active, but also you want to share like yourself with the world in a sense of like you feel unheard. You feel like you want your voice to be heard, and in many ways this was our way to be heard, to be listened to. you know in my like I'm this old ass hag. I'm nearly 20. I'm not even 20 yet. But um in my days when I was a teenager, the concept of just like everybody becoming a sensation wasn't really I- implemented as it is right now. Like it was kind of available, like the option was kind of available, but not as it is right now. The awareness was almost there, but it actually wasn't. So like everyone was still very much asleep, you know. And I myself thought I was gonna become a game developer because my dad always pushed me to learn code and to I always loved playing video games, and I always loved understanding how things work behind the scenes and everything like that. So, and creating things out of nothing, because like coding basically is using numbers and words to create a visual element. This is insane. This is like alchemy shit. So I loved it because I thought this is the only art that can make me a living. you know So I kind of like dedicated those years of being 13, 15, 13, 14, 15, even a bit of like my 16 years, kind of, sort of. I was, I think 16, I quit. Oh no, I didn't quit. I applied to like this bigger coding course or whatever for like teenagers that is like nationwide, and I didn't make it because girls usually don't make it there because they're like chauvinistic like that, misogynist. It sucks, but that's just how it is. But they did me a favor because then I realized that this was just what I was pushing myself to do, because I didn't think that my medium of art, which is writing, painting, creating music, I didn't believe that would get me anywhere in life because of all the people around me that saw me paint and saw me write and saw me do all of those things and told me, well, it's cute that you're doing it now because you're a kid, but you're gonna grow up someday and all of this is gonna go to the trash. It's just rubbish. It's cute rubbish, but it is rubbish. It just very much discouraged me and actually made me believe that this is just a temporary thing and that I cannot really make this my reality, so I just need to do what everybody is telling me to do, which is to learn how to code and just make it my living. And, well, even though that sucked, this also helped me realize how society works in those ways. Because the whole point, specifically with my story, is that my dad is a failure. I'm sorry, Dad, if you're watching this. He's not watching this. He's a narcissist. Hello, Dad. Um, like my dad is a failure in the sense of like he literally is a Libra. Okay, if you know Libras, they, especially male Libras, they will try to do anything possible, because they have so many like options in their lives. They never commit to any one option, and they just want to have as much as possible, as many things as possible, to indulge as many things as possible, and this is how he really got so much experience in so many things, but never really made them a career and never really dedicated to them, also because he had a problem with drugs and mental insanity, but that's different. So he wanted me to kind of like make his dreams come true, because his whole thing also was that he is a coder. He does codes. He, you know, is mostly a hacker, because my dad is a very rebellious person. He's a very like fuck the system, stick it to the men's type of person. So he was mostly a hacker and a malicious one too, but not to like hurt people, but just like to um, break systems basically. So that's a lot of information I'm sharing right now. But like, yeah, you get it. So he wanted me to actually have a career in this thing that he really liked and was very good at, So like, how narcissistic parents see you as just an extension of themselves, not really as your own individual person. So yeah. So it was very, very important to him that I would do exactly this thing and not anything else. So it was also, hence why it was very also important to him to silence that part of my mind that was telling me, no, I want to be a creator, I want to be an artist, I don't want to sit in front of the computer all day and just look at numbers. Like, that drove me insane. I also am like dyslexic when it comes to numbers specifically. I have like I don't know how you say it in English, but I have a specific dyslexia when it comes to numbers, right? They all get jumbled up for me, and like I mistake them with other numbers, and it just like I don't know, okay? It fries my brain, okay? I'm just not built for that, okay? So it was very painful for me to just sit in front of a computer and just like do that all day, But I was very committed to that because I thought that that is my only way of showing the world my creativity. That is the only way that it is acceptable to explore my creativity, because making art is not acceptable. Making music is not acceptable. And also, I would always sing, right? And always, create art, whatever. But it was not acceptable in society. When it comes to books specifically, you do have to have a certain amount of knowledge that is very much specific to you to write what you want to convey to the world, right? Because if it is a guidebook, you have to know what you're guiding the person to do. You have to know how to explain it. You have to know all of the intricacies that comes with it, right? And yeah, basically. And if it's a novel, then you have to know how to build your characters and the story in a way that conveys your true meaning of that story, of that thing you are creating, to the reader. But what you absolutely do not need to have is a certain degree from university or college or anything, okay? That is the one thing you believe you need that you don't. That you don't need, absolutely. And I'm gonna tell you something. For 9 years and reading and writing, I don't think I would have this intuitive and simplistic style of writing if had I went to college and studied literature in college or whatever, because all those facilities, exactly like art, I'm an artist, like a painter. That's what I do. I'm a professional painter. So like, if I would have went to like an academy, they would probably restrict my ideas. They would, not probably. That's the whole point of those systems, to restrict us to principles, and sometimes it is a good thing to just like make to expand our knowledge. But when it comes to creativity, I feel like it is just a trap. Basically, it's a trap, because what they teach you there is that sorry what they teach you there is that you cannot do certain things, and how you need to do certain things, specifically what not to write and how you are supposed to write. And I feel like that is very much discouraging, because not only do you start comparing yourself to all of those like grand masterpieces that you're studying, you also are met with this kind of like what is the word I'm looking for? This belief that you are like those brilliant minds who actually wrote all of those amazing pieces of literature. You're just here to study them. You're just here to understand how they work, but not to create your own thing. I mean, of course, you do need to create your own thing with literature in university and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is that own thing, that it is yours, is not supposed to be based on you and how you want it to be. It's based on how everybody else did it in the past. You know what I'm trying to convey? My book specifically is very much crazy. It's very much like spiritual, and in disguise. It's spiritual in disguise. There is like a lot of channeling that I did. Like, I didn't even know that I was like spitting bars basically when I was writing it when I was young. I was just like listening to my intuition. I wasn't researching everything. I was just like listening to my intuition. Like, my mind is telling me. Okay, this is crazy, but I didn't even know the band Nirvana at the time. I was like 13. It was with my very initial like creation of the world that my book is currently in. And I called like the Kingdom of Angels Nirvana. And I just heard Nirvana like once. Like, I didn't even know what the context was. I didn't even know the band, right? But if you don't know, Nirvana in Hinduism, if I'm not mistaken, is the enlightenment, is the spiritual place that you want to be in, that you are enlightened. This is Nirvana, like mental peace, spiritual peace, something like this. A place in your consciousness that is connected to the divine. I didn't know shit about this. I didn't know that this is what it meant. Like, I had no fucking clue. But there I went and did exactly that. Wrote exactly that. And now, as a esoterically influenced, I guess person, and a very spiritual person, I look at all of those things and I'm like, damn, it's like I would have wrote them right now with all of the esoteric knowledge that I have. You know what I mean? Just in a sense of like, my intuition told me, write this. This makes no sense, but just write it, because this is what I'm telling you, aka my intuition. And lo and behold, it makes more sense than I could ever imagine. Because this is my next point. We have innate destinies, right? We have this innate destiny. Now, when people say, oh, destiny is limiting, destiny is kind of like um decide like an outer force deciding for me what I need to do, and that is like the complete opposite of what destiny is. Okay, destiny is your wants and needs, your spiritual, physical, mental wants and needs, your goals, your experiences, all of them are your destiny. You're gonna say, oh, my destiny, I don't believe in destiny because, like, it's. How do you don't believe in destiny? Like, do you have a dream? Do you have dreams? Well, those dreams are your destiny. Like, bruh, how can you not believe in destiny? Like, this is what we're built on as humans. Like, do you think we just have autonomy with nothing behind it? I mean, that would be kind of cute to assume, but it's not really like that. Um, I mean, yes, you can say, oh, nothing really has meaning in this world. You can go in the very nihilistic approach, but, like, that is your problem. I don't know what to tell you. That is your problem and your problem only. If you refuse to understand that everything has meaning in this experience, this human experience, right? Because your destiny when it comes to writing a book is to write what you want to write, what your inner self, your subconscious, your higher self, your soul, however you want to interpret this as, is telling you to write. For me specifically, I do believe that my higher self, my soul, has a message from all of the lives that I have lived with this soul, because I do believe, even my grandmoms always tell me that they are also very spiritual, and, like, they also tell me that I'm like 80 years old and I'm like a very old soul, and I've been here for, like, a long time basically, and I've lived many lives, and, like, just, I'm wise basically. My soul is wise, not me, my soul, you know. And I do believe that, and I do believe that my soul has this calling to share something about her experiences, in a way that only this physical body of mine could do. You know what I mean? This is what I believe. So that's why I never stopped myself from creating, especially when it comes to this book, because, like I said, my book sounds so cliche, but I'm just, like, telling you the concept, right? Like, oh, angels coming to, like, they are teenagers too. They're like 18, like going to university, something like that. They're teenagers too. You can say that is the most cliche thing in the world, but and, like, change the whole narrative to make it a very different and unique thing, but, like, or, like, I don't know, make it something that nobody ever heard of, but, like, it wouldn't it wouldn't serve justice to my soul's calling, like what the message that she has. It would not serve it justice, because my soul specifically wants to talk about this notion. I don't even know how I came to this conclusion. I don't even, like, what with the story, how I wanted it to be angels and, like, whatever. I don't know. Okay, angels and vampires and, like, I don't know. Okay, don't ask me. It's God. It's the divine. It's the universe working through me to send you a message, right? So I would say feel this way as well. Like, it's more than us. It's bigger than us. We are just a vessel to share this message that the universe wants to be out there. The universe wants this message to be out there for people, for, like, cultures, for civilizations. You don't know what your book is gonna do. It's gonna probably be the most helpful tool ever, and you wouldn't know it. Maybe perhaps it's gonna even happen after we die, but you know, if it's our destiny, then fuck it. Rather we would we rather I'm sorry well, would we rather like bite our tongue and just like do what everyone expects us to do, or would we rather help out the universe with sharing this message? Because we got this gift of sharing this message from the universe. We got this gift to do something with it, not to suppress it, not to forget about it, not to shove it inside a drawer and just like be like, well, this is not real life, so I'm gonna have to like ignore that and just like enslave myself. This is not why we are built as creative beings. This is not why we have this attraction to language and compositions through sentences and world creation. These things, these attributes that we have, they have meaning. They are a gift for us to share a very specific message that we want to share, that our soul is calling us to share with the universe, with the world. Me specifically, the message that I'm trying to share is how self configuration is the word I'm looking for, I think. It's a very alchemy book. It's very much an alchemy book. It's a very alchemy book. Well, my language is not popping off today. My book is very much an alchemy book disguised as a novel, right? Because it's much more, first of all, deeper that way, and also it actually includes the true meaning of what alchemy really is, because the whole point is that angels don't need to go through alchemy because they're already in divine unity. They don't need to do what we humans need to do. But the problem is that, the Queen of Chaos, you need chaos to bring order, so the Queen of Chaos literally kills every fucking angel, slaughters everyone, enslaves everyone, right? And takes control over the world, basically. And her crew of, like, I'm not gonna get into specifics because I don't want anybody stealing my idea, but, like, her crew is, like, how do I say this? Like, they start, like, popping up in, like, the human dimension, right? And they start popping up as like those very magical creatures, like very romanticized, right? They're very hot and like, ooh, how like people romanticize like demons and like vampires and shit like that. So this is the concept. And they are very much like out there, they're not trying to hide it. They're just like very much out there, and like they're trying to build a community in the dimension of the humans, so they can take control over that dimension as well, because their true like plan is to take over the whole entire world, basically the whole entire existence, to destroy order, but the whole point of the book is that there's like a prophecy, whatever. Of course there is, every fantasy book has to have a prophecy, it has to, that is explained in a much later book. Obviously it's always like that, so and for a reason, I don't know, it's for a reason, because that makes sense with the story. It makes a lot of sense and also represents real life. But what I'm trying to say is that the whole point of this is that the angels then have to, a very specific group of angels then is saved and have to work in this human dimension to find out who they are, to make the great work, basically, to go through the great work, which is actually the name of my book, the magnum opus of existing, as a human. The um redefining of layers and understanding them and just like connecting with them and your inner like subconscious and everything like that, and understanding your human experience. This is the way in which they can save the human dimension and the whole world, because when they save the human dimension, the kind of like problem gets smaller, and their power becomes greater. What I'm trying to say is that, I found this very magical, specific as fuck way to write an alchemy book without me even knowing what the fuck alchemy was. And if I wouldn't have listened to my intuition, I probably wouldn't have ever written this book. Because now, as an alchemist, I would not think to write it that way. I would definitely not think to write it that way, but I did before I was an alchemist. And now, as an alchemist, I see this all of the sense that it makes. It makes so much sense, So my point is, don't worry about the fact that you are not an expert, absolute expert in the specific topic that you're writing about, or in writing in general. The action of writing, the putting words together to create a coherent sentence and to build a world, whatever. Don't feel bad about the fact that you are not an expert in that, and don't stop yourself basically from doing that, from trying to become an expert, even since you are not an expert anyway, like, to begin with. People don't become experts in anything overnight. You're not just gonna be visited by an entity that tells you to write the book of law all of a sudden. It's just not gonna happen. Perhaps that dude that kind of like oriented Thelema, I think that's the religion, I'm not really sure, it said that this is what happened to him, and hey, who am I to fucking criticize that experience or judge it or anything else. But this is not the only way to write a book, and if you're not an expert, you don't have to wait for an entity that one day will knock on your door, like come to visit you in your dreams and be like, yo, write this book. Like, this is not gonna happen. You have to be that entity and say, yo, write this book. You must do it. This is your destiny. And perhaps you will write a very big portion of the book, and then you'll start reading it since the beginning and see so many things that you want to change and so many things that you don't like and everything like that, and that's okay. You don't have to have a specific time span of writing a book. I've been working on mine for 7 years, 9 years of writing a book. At the beginning, I was working on a completely different concept. I was going more with like ghost stuff, more to explain that idea, of like as above, so below. And I was like 10 years old. I didn't know shit about as above, so below. I was 10 years old. I was just having a wild imagination. That was also my intuition saying things that she wanted to share with the world. You get what I'm saying? You get me? Basically, yeah. Don't limit yourself also with the amount of time that you must publish your book in, because writing a book is not about publishing it. It's not about, the publishing and that everybody is seeing it. It's mostly about the creation itself, because you can create the most fucking generic thing ever. It could be awful. It could make no sense, and it could be fucking like awful to your imagination and your mind, and you're gonna read it and be like, what the fuck am I reading? Like, who ruined my language like that? But everybody's gonna publish so well, and everybody's gonna go buy it. Or you can write the most like deep intellectual work that has so much meaning for you specifically and has all of your experiences inside of it, and just like, you know, is molded by your intuition and your soul basically. And it's not gonna be as popular. It's not gonna be like Harry Potter, you know, even though you would think that, you know, it deserves that type of recognition. You know, it just that's what it is, you know, like the good things are saved for the good people. That's also something I want you to remember, because you perhaps would say, "Oh, but like there's no audience for what I'm doing." Yes, there is. Are you gonna read it? Are you gonna enjoy it? Well, there's so many people like you. You're not special. I mean, you are special, but you're not that special that there's no one with your interests. Like that is not possible even, because we all share the same consciousness. So there must be at least one person, or like 1% of existence, that has the same likes and dislikes as you, and wants and needs to read that book. And for you to write it is to make their dreams come true without them knowing. You know? So don't tell yourself, "Oh, there's no market for what I'm doing." There is no market. Don't try like appealing to the market. The market is stupid. They are stupid. Do you think anyone appreciated Oscar Wilde at his time? I mean, we would like to believe that they did, but not really. Like, everybody told him the exact same thing. First of all, you're a faggot. Second of all, you're doing something that faggots do, and that's writing poetry. Like, what the fuck? You know? Like, we wouldn't be studying about Oscar Wilde in literature now if had he been a cocky faggot. You know, I'm saying that I'm gay too. It's fine. You know, I don't mean it in a offensive way. I actually mean it in an empowering way. You know, I'm a dyke. It's fine. Okay. Um. So, yeah, what I'm saying is that don't try appealing to a specific market, to your market or like the open market. Forget about that. That doesn't matter. That is not what's important. Because if somebody needs to see your creation, to hear about your creation, to study it, it's gonna happen. They're gonna meet your creation whether they want it or not. Okay? Whether they are aware of that or not. It's gonna happen anyway, because this is the way of the universe. We, as you know, merely walking mortals in this 3D vessels, if you will, we don't really have the power to understand the limitlessness, the infinity of the universe, right? So there is no reason for us to start like thinking about, "Oh, but how it will get to the people that I want, and how will I do that, and how will it what if, just like overflow our brains with like doubts and like other than ideas, you know what I mean? There's no reason for us to do that, because like it's not gonna lead us anywhere. Like, it's just gonna stop us in place. It's gonna stop us from doing what we want, you know? And my book specifically is, without me knowing, is based on the planet Uranus, and I feel like for some reason I haven't got to that like part of writing the story, but I feel like Pluto also has like a very big role in the book as well, because I don't know, it just feels very much like it. I also like I have like this bullet journal that I usually write like book notes. I'll show you actually. I usually write in it like book notes and stuff, you know, and it has like, and I drew all like the signs of the planets on it. And, you know, I started from the sun up there into Venus to like Mercury and shit like that. You have Saturn and Mars here, and like Jupiter and Chiron. But the biggest ones are Uranus and Pluto, you see? Uranus and Pluto. Neptune is a little bit bigger than the other ones as well, but like they are like the main theme, and I didn't even know that. And you want to know the craziest thing ever? One of the most prominent figures in my book, her name is Cordelia. And if you don't know, Cordelia is a name of one of the moons of Uranus. Like, it's named after a character in a William Shakespeare play, the King Lear, something like this. She was the daughter of the King Lear. Her name was Cordelia. And when I realized that, I was just like, damn, because only a few days ago, I googled her name because I felt like it had to come from somewhere. I saw the name in like an anime once, Diabolic Lovers. I remember the anime. Um, and she was kind of like based on the character Cordelia in that anime, you know? And she was evil and like, and hot. Hot and evil, my type. Yeah, so I googled it, and I was just like shocked to find out that she is one of the moons of Uranus is called after this Cordelia, which is a character from like William Shakespeare. Like, what the fuck? I didn't know that. I didn't know it would correlate like that, And like her brother is Umbriel, which is another name of a moon of Uranus. You know? Yeah, it's crazy shit. Crazy shit. Basically, what I'm trying to say is what you're wanting to do has meaning. And that meaning cannot be explained. You're gonna try to explain it to people, but don't. Don't. They will not understand. Not only will they not understand, they will also gonna try to stop you from doing that. So I would say, don't take it to the extreme that I did and just like don't tell anybody you're writing a book for like 7 years. Don't do that, because that is also a bit discouraging to be the only one that knows you're writing a book. Then you don't feel like you wanna publish it ever. I did feel that way, until a person that used to be a good friend of mine. She was a Scorpio, and I told her like about this book, and like in a short like summary of it, and she was like, "Oh my god, you have to publish it." And she was the first person to ever say that to me, and I was just like, wow, I have to publish it. So like, if you trust somebody, if you have friends, perhaps work a little bit on your project before you present them the idea, but don't just keep it to yourself forever as well, because that also defeats the point of writing it to begin with, because you're not writing it to just write it and that's it. The whole point is for you to send your message to the world, so in some way you do have to put it out there, but it doesn't mean that you have to expose what it is or expose it since the beginning, when you are in a very vulnerable place with your creation, because as artists, as creators, as architects, I like to call it, because we are architects, yeah, of this existence, of the 3D. That's what we do as creators. Well, the energy of like leaking, like that we overshare ideas and like in their very beginning stages, is like kind of like not beneficial to us. It hurts us because then people can shit on what we do, and because we don't have, so to say, receipts and shit like that. And also we feel vulnerable because our idea doesn't feel very firm, so it much is easy for other people to come and like stomp on it. You know what I mean? Even if it's your friends, even if it's just a little word that somebody said and it threw you off, you know. I would just like wait a bit for you to have like confidence in your work, but true confidence, like stable confidence in your work that is already, you know, somewhat done or like is actively being made, you know, um, before you share it with people, before you share the idea with people, because it's very easy also for people to steal your ideas. Think about that. It's also don't brag about things. Don't be like, oh, don't be cocky about it. Oh, I'm writing a book, I'm this, I'm this, because somebody's gonna steal your idea, and and they're not gonna do it justice, and it's gonna fuck you over, and it's gonna fuck over the universe, because you know the plan was for you to write this, but now a different person wrote it, so now you have to like make it different without like it being copyrighted. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I like about my book is that like even if somebody tried, they wouldn't be able to like make it to like copy it, you know, because also it is, even though it is on Wattpad, it is first of all in a language that none of you can speak, which is great. And second of all, it is also protected by copyright, even though it is on Wattpad. You know what I mean? And yeah, when I'm gonna publish it officially as a physical book in stores, whatever, you know, the concept is gonna be very new to people. Nobody's gonna know what the fuck is this, you know, because I didn't just go around tell people what the fuck I'm writing about, because that defeats my point. I want to share my message through my book. I don't want to brag about the fact that I'm writing a book, because that's not gonna help me at all. It's just gonna make people resentful, jealous, and just like criticize for no reason. Like, I don't want people being in my shit, basically. I don't want people like shoving their nose in my business, basically. So this is my advice for you. Okay, I know this was a long video as well, but you know, just enjoy my face. What can I say? I love you, and I really want to write your book, you know, someday. So please write it so I can read it one day, please. Even if it's a book about coding, I would still read it. Okay, I love you. I gotta go. It's dark. It's dark already. So yeah, I gotta do some laundry. I love you. Good luck. I very much believe in your creative abilities, and I know you will be a great author. Good luck.